Saints going all the way, Saints going all the way. Kumbaya, this the Who That Nation. Game on the line, you can bet we take them. Go black and gold, black and gold. Don't stop, boy, we trying to win the Super Bowl. We rock and roll, rock and roll. Touchdown, go Saints, we gonna do it some more. We rock and roll, rock and roll. Touchdown, go Saints, now give me some more. Now, who that, holla, who that, holla, who that, holla, who that, who that nation. Black and gold, black and gold. Oh yeah, fast up. Black and gold, black and gold, black. Who that? They ain't ready for us. They ain't ready for us. They ain't ready for the black and gold, black. Who that? They ain't ready. What up? They ain't ready. What up? They ain't ready for the black and gold, black and gold. Game time, baby, and I go for the.
This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. For those that enjoyed the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the Lawnmower 4.0. The leader in male grooming is taking it to the next level. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. Go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off on the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Really do appreciate your time. Getting up this early in the morning. It's about 8 a.m. Here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So I know it's about 7 o'clock where you all are right now if you're on Central Standard Time. And if some of you are on the West Coast, God bless you. It's about 5 o'clock. So thank y'all so much for being here. I know a lot of people are excited, little tired, but nevertheless, the Saints have a big game, Week 4 matchup versus the Minnesota Vikings in the UK. And all week long, the New Orleans Saints have been across the pond, getting themselves prepared mentally as well as physically for this game. There's some guys that are going to be out. This is according to my guy, Ross Jackson. The Saints offense will be without quarterback Jameis Winston, wide receiver Michael Thomas, running back Alvin Kamara, and guard Andres Pete. So that Alvin Kamara scratch came a little bit of a shocker. He was there all week, of course, practicing, but his practice was very limited, and the New Orleans Saints today decided to sit him out, which I think is a smart idea. Alvin Kamara has had, a little bit of ups and downs this season, dealing with that rib injury. You don't want to, re-aggravate that at all. I think the Saints have some capable running backs, and what we're about to see is the guy who has been a mainstay for the New Orleans Saints, and he left, and the guy that replaced him came in Latavius Murray. I'm talking about Mark Ingram and Latavius Murray. So you're about to get the guy who went away and the guy that the Saints signed for the guy that went away. And now both of them are going to be in the Saints backfield today because Latavius Murray was activated. And a lot of people who have, wanted to see Latavius Murray being a part of this offense, you're about to get what you wanted. I think that this can be a motivating game for Latavius Murray. He actually played for the Minnesota Vikings, and also, he never got opportunity to be the real guy. He went from the Oakland Raiders, who were the Oakland Raiders at the time, and he went to the Minnesota Vikings on a contract, but they end up drafting Dalvin Cook, and he always kind of just played the background. So I just think that he probably is going to take this as a motivated game. I like the way Latavius Murray runs. He's not the most exciting runner in the world, but one thing that you will get out of him is some production, and he's not one of those guys that can't break it. He can definitely break it. If he sees a lane, he can get through it and pick up some big yards or even a touchdown. So along with him and Mark Ingram, I think they should be able to be a formidable backfield. The only thing I feel like that could stop them is the ball security. The Saints have not had issues really running the football. It's just been their commitment to constantly running the football and guys holding on to the football to give the coaches enough confidence to continue to run the football. So I think if you go out there, you run the football, and you have ball security, I think that you should be fine. Looking at the tail of the tape on behalf of the Minnesota Vikings, I'm looking at them right now. The Minnesota Vikings, first downs, they have 19. Their opponents have 24. Third down conversions, the Minnesota Vikings are 10 of 34. Their opponents are 13 of 38. On fourth down, they're 2 of 3. Total offense yards, they put up 1,032. That's about middle of the pack there. Also, rushing yards. This is something that was very, very alarming to me. When it comes to stopping the run, they're pretty much down there. When it comes to like stopping the run, they have allowed 413 total yards of rushing to their 311. So this is probably going to be the thing that can help the New Orleans Saints by running the football, and that's why I was alluding to Mark Ingram as well as Latavius Murray, because if you can get these guys on board, and running the football, maybe they'll set it up for some of those plays for Andy Dalton. Speaking of Andy Dalton, he gets to start today. I know some people are excited about that to see what the Red Rifle can possibly do. Look, I look at this Saints offense. You got Jarvis Landry is going to be out there. Chris Olave. You got some older guys. Not older guys, but some guys that were starters last year. And Callaway and Traquan Smith and Deontay Hardy. So you have some guys out there that can make some plays, that can make some guys miss and get down the field. So Andy Dalton. He can go out there. He can make some plays. He's going to be smart with the football. And, you can get this victory. The fact that the Minnesota Vikings are familiar with Andy Dalton, the fact that he played for the Chicago Bears a couple of years ago, I'm pretty sure they got some film on them they probably used, when he was playing in the NFC North. But I just think that this is an opportunity for Andy Dalton to really see what this offense can possibly be. This is going to be a tough game for the New Orleans Saints because, the Minnesota Vikings always play the Saints tough. It's always a tough game. Even when Alvin Kamara scored those 6 touchdowns, people don't pay attention, but the Minnesota Vikings were scoring as well. They was getting up and down the field on the Saints also. And this will be a game that I feel like we can really see what the Saints secondary is all about. And this can be an opportunity for the New Orleans Saints secondary to probably get their hands on the football and get some turnovers with some interceptions. So, Kirk Cousins has been up and down this season. He has 5 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. So, I mean, there's not a lot to write home about him. We know who he is. He's a guy that can light you up one week and play about as pedestrian as you possibly can be the following week. So the Saints need to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. I know that makes some people roll their eyes because they're like, the Saints haven't been getting much pressure on the quarterbacks as of late. But, they got to be able to get him off his spot because he can't pick them apart. And Kirk Cousins isn't like the worst quarterback in the world to a point where this dude can't put up some big yards. So the Saints have got to be careful and make sure that they get him rattled. They got to take advantage of the advantage that they got by coming in earlier in the week. The Minnesota Vikings came in, I want to say on Friday or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So they're still trying to get themselves acclimated to the time change. The Saints have been there for the last couple of days. So, that's an advantage for them. So hopefully they can use that to their advantage and be wide-eyed and go out there and be able to generate a win. Look, I picked the Minnesota Vikings to win this game when I was doing pregame, the predictions for the season. And I'm sticking by that. I think that the New Orleans Saints are going to be playing a little bit better. But I just think the Minnesota Vikings are going to win this football game. When you see the Saints struggles, until I actually see otherwise and improvement, I can't just say that they're going to be, leaps and bounds better than the Minnesota Vikings in this game. You're missing some key players like Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. You got some other guys out there that can make some plays, but the Saints have been very, very sloppy. They've been, not been, on task when it comes to the offense, and I don't think that that's just going to change this week. I understand the New Orleans Saints in years past they've been a really good October team. They're probably one of the best when it comes to the month of October, but Sean Payton isn't here, so I got the Minnesota Vikings winning this football game. I don't think they're going to blow the Saints out, but I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to win. I think that you're probably going to see a little bit more scoring from the New Orleans Saints. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to get into the 20s in this game, but the Minnesota Vikings are going to win. I got this game being 27 to 23 or 27 to 20. So I got the Minnesota Vikings winning the game. But let me go ahead and read some of your comments. I appreciate you all for being here. Let's go ahead and get started. Mario says breakfast game, baby. Yeah, it's definitely a breakfast game. It's definitely one of those games you have to go to Krispy Kreme Donuts and pick up some donuts, maybe some milk a little bit, maybe some coffee if you into that type of stuff at Starbucks. Yeah, get yourself going. I like Murray running style. He's a bruiser of a back because of his size. He can wear out a defense. Yeah, he can. Tony Jones is inactive. Yeah. What else is new, to be honest? What the hell? Dane Jones got most juice. Yeah, I mean, look, he out. I mean, you might have Dwayne Washington that might have some carries as well. Depends on how the game goes. Please just take care of the ball this week. Yeah, ball security is key. Ball security is key when it comes to like what the Saints are going to do. But I mean, the last couple of weeks they've been turning over the football. Hopefully that can change. Hopefully they put an emphasis on that and guys kind of woke up to the fact. Chosen, where you at? I'm up watching the game early. Washington ran pretty solid. Yeah, Dwayne Washington is a solid running back. He's a guy got nice size on him, got good speed, got good pad level. And also he's pretty good in the passing game. Red Rifle gonna be straight facing a tough D for a debut, plus missing weapons. If he wins this one, it's gonna be epic. Well, I'm be honest with you. The Minnesota Vikings defense isn't nothing that that's just very like fearsome. I mean, they middle of the pack. They've been giving up the run quite a bit these last couple of weeks. But I mean, sometimes you can't really just pay attention to the statistics. Just like when it comes to the Saints. We expect for the Saints to improve. I'm pretty sure the Minnesota Vikings are looking to improve. And I've heard this before. People talking about, oh, they can't stop the run. Oh, their offensive line is trash. And then all of a sudden, like, they play against the Saints get stonewalled on the defensive line. And I mean, and then also when it comes to the running game, then all of a sudden these guys are channeling they in a Barry Sanders or Walter Payton or something. So sometimes statistics can tell lies, but we'll see. I feel good about today. I didn't the past for a few weeks, honestly. And I think a lot of people have been feeling pretty bummed out about this team over the last couple of weeks, to be honest with you. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, you go through growing pains sometime, but it's about how you respond to the adversity, right? How you respond to those growing pains. So hopefully they can get back and we can see some positive things that they can actually work on to go forward in order to generate some wins. Good morning, TJ. What's going on, Tate? Thank you for being here. Might see Justin. Let me see. Lattimore will have 10 interceptions, all for pick sixes. It will be the first time in NFL history a team has scored 10 defensive touchdowns. I like the optimism, but I don't think that's going to happen. State of the Saints podcast. Are you serious, TJ? Saints winning this game. Stop it. Well, look, I can't pick the Saints to win every game, and honestly, look, I picked the Minnesota Vikings to beat the New Orleans Saints, and during when I was doing the schedule, and I stick by that, man. I mean, the Saints haven't really showed me anything to a point where I should change my mind about this. Now, if I would have if I would have seen something that I seen at the beginning of the season that would have changed my mind, I probably would have changed it. But I'm sticking by this, man. I got to stick by it. And I hope I'm wrong, but I I ain't seen nothing that would make me change my mind. I understand you got them winning, TJ, but 27 on the defense. Um, hey man, I could be wrong. I could be wrong when it comes down to it. But hey, I mean that's just how I feel. Let's see. We can beat the Vikings. Yeah, we can beat the Vikings. We can beat them. I'm not saying that the Saints can't. I'm just saying. I mean, look, I can't pick the Saints to win every game. They can beat them, but like I said, from what I've seen these last couple of weeks, um, I mean, I can't really change my mind about something I thought at the beginning of the season. I mean, I had the Saints beating Carolina just like everybody else. I had them beating Tampa just like most of you. That didn't happen. But I had them losing to the Minnesota Vikings, so I got to stick with it because nothing I've seen from this offense, will prove me differently. Let's see. Yeah, the stats are getting misleading because good defense is now like Philly and Minnesota are starting to let you run on purpose to slow down the passing game. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes those numbers can be kind of misleading. I mean, look, if you stop in a run for the most part, and let's just say, for example, a guy breaks like a 60-yard run or something, you know what I'm saying? Like that don't always just tell the story. Like you might have like one big run, and the team just basically stonewalled you for the rest of the game. So sometimes those numbers can be misleading when you go to it. And even though you might stonewall them, the number's still gonna go up and it's gonna look a certain way, even though your defense isn't that bad. So sometimes those numbers can be misleading. National media acknowledge the Saints. I think they'll start acknowledging the Saints. Well, the Saints will force them to acknowledge them if they start winning. Seriously. Let's see. I hope once Jameis heals up, he comes back strong. Drop my like. Love you, TJ. Yeah, thank you. For all the people that say I asked that you hit the like button this morning. I really appreciate that. Carolyn Smith says, good morning, big Sunday morning, breakfast, coffee, and football. Yeah, shouts out to my mom up early, but they ain't nothing new. My mom get up about 4 o'clock in the morning every single day. So this ain't uncharted waters for her. Let's see. Hope we can run the ball today and get off to a fast start. Yeah, that's the key right there. That's the key right there. If the Saints are going to win this football game, they're gonna have to run the football. Morning, TJ. How did you fare in the storm? It was fine, man. Like we had like no damage or anything like that at all around here. We're extremely blessed. Was no power outages. Didn't have to pick up no debris out the ground. I mean, the storm basically just kind of, you know, blew through. I mean, no pun intended, but it's true. Like the wind blew a little bit. They had a little rain out there. That and at around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I mean, it's pretty clear. And then even yesterday, man. I mean, yesterday was a beautiful day. I pressure washed my patio off. I barbecued a little bit, put some ribs and some chicken on the grill. My wife was happy that I finally cleaned off the patio. Sprayed off the furniture, sprayed off the asphalt from when Paxton was using how those kids have those little have a little chalk they can write on the concrete. So she was happy I sprayed that off. So probably I was on a honey-do list yesterday, cut the grass a little bit and my wife wanted me to barbecue. She wanted me to pressure wash. So I was on a honey-do list. I watched a few college football games, but everything's fine. Long story short, everything's fine. I'm blessed. Everybody in the community is blessed. My heart really truly goes out to all those people that were really affected by Hurricane Ian in Florida. But a lot of people in the Carolinas are fortunate. But we also have to remember those that weren't so fortunate going through this situation and trying to pick up the pieces. Let me scroll down a little bit. Go get your son and clear his head. He picked the Vikings to beat us. Yeah, I mean, look, I definitely picked the Vikings to beat us, but like I said, I hope I'm wrong. So, I mean, but that's just how I feel. No Kamara, that hurts. Today's going to be a long day. Come on, Saints, let's go. Who taking Pete's spot? Throckmorton more than likely. Yeah. God bless you, TJ. Thank you, man. God bless you as well. Thornton at Throckmorton. I think that's what you're referring to. First Sunday, no service today. I'm having a big breakfast, bacon, egg, and grits, biscuit, and drinking coffee, waiting for the football. Who that? Oh yeah, it is first Sunday. Yeah. So my grandfather is a pastor of two churches. I think that the church. I don't know. I think the church that the other church that he pastors, shouts out to Bethlehem Baptist Church. Um, I think they have service every first Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we started Soul Saving Baptist Church. That's my home church. I think we started having church on third Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we used to have church every Sunday, but it kind of changed around a little bit, as my grandfather, starting to get older and stuff like that. And, man, you you got to change some things around a little bit. I think it happened like probably because of COVID. I want to say that's when they started to change the church schedule. But shouts out to Bethlehem Baptist Church. Shouts out to Soul Saving Baptist Church and out there in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Let's see. I just started a change.org petition to make Carolyn Smith officially change her name to Mama SOTS. Well, I don't think she had to change her name today, Josh. She's already that. I think everybody pretty much that's been here for a while know my mom, and pretty sure everybody kind of acknowledged her as that. But yeah, but that would be funny though, her changing her name today. What up, TJ? Murray might have a decent game against his former team today. This should be a game management game for Dalton. Well, I feel like it could be a game. I want to be clear. This could be a game management game, but this is a game where he probably can have some opportunities to make plays as well. If you were playing against, I don't know, the Rams, or you're playing against the Baltimore Ravens or something like that, then I feel like that would be one of those games that you can actually manage. But this is a game that you can possibly make some plays in. I mean, the Vikings secondary, not really that good. I mean, they solid defensively, but there's some opportunities there. And not to make big risk, but you can make some plays. Let me see. Hope all is okay after Ian came through, or just wind or rain. Yeah, I mean, look, it was just wind and rain around here. I mean, in other parts, as you head like towards the northern parts of South Carolina, they probably got a little bit more than we did, but we really didn't get much. We really didn't get much around here, which we're blessed because of that. Let's see. We need to put together conservative wins over the next few weeks, starting today. If the Saints can survive the early storm, they can be in the mix come December. Yeah, you got to start winning these games now. The more NFC opponents you actually lose to, it just lowers your chance to actually make the postseason. So I mean, you got to find ways to try to string off some wins. I watched the Georgia-Missouri game Saturday night. I thought that Missouri was going to pull an upset on Georgia. Yeah, I mean, for a while it did. I mean, they got their kick out there kicking them 50-plus yard field goals, but I don't know, man. When you have that much talent on your team, it's kind of hard to keep a team like that down. I mean, and I don't think this is going to affect them at all. I don't think that their position is going to change, because Alabama had a game like this against Texas a couple of weeks ago. So this is one of their little scary games, and that would have been huge. Like, that would have been huge if they would have lost that game, because that would have gave Missouri, the advantage. And if Missouri would have ended up like stringing off some wins, then Georgia wouldn't even been in the SEC championship. They wouldn't even had a chance. So they definitely had to win that game, because they coming out the SEC East. So that definitely was a win that they needed, and they dodged the bullet. They are going. I'm staying with your grandmother. You know what that means. That means that you about to have an exciting time watching the game. Let's see. We need the defense to get a pick today. I'm hoping. Well, this can be a game that they can get an interception. This can be one of those games. So we'll see. Got to respect the fact that he didn't change his pick based on his feelings. Well, look. I mean, I'm one of those people. I try to be as objective as I can, and I know sometimes that may, I don't want to say rub people the wrong way. They may not like it, or agree with it. But look. I called it when I was making this schedule, and I would have been happy to change this if I would have seen something different from the Saints, but I haven't seen that much. I I haven't seen what I wanted to see as a Saints team just yet. So I can't change my pick. Let's see. Good morning, Who That Nation. Good morning, TJ. Glad you and your family are safe. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that, Creole Bunny. Yeah, everybody's doing fine. Shouts out to everybody that may be watching this or listening to this, headed to the game in the UK. Shouts out to everybody out there. I hope everybody's being safe. I'm seeing pictures and videos, first time people visiting the UK, families visiting the UK, getting to hang out with, different other Saints fans. So it looks like it's a great experience. So shouts out to y'all, and hope y'all have all the fun in the world at this game. The king of Nintendo is in the house. Mario. 24-10 Saints. Kamari is great, but I think we still have good backs. I think we have some good running backs too. I think that a lot of people are frustrated with Mark Ingram's fumbling, but it's not like Mark Ingram is just out there just being stonewalled. He's running the ball pretty well. The issues are he just, he turned the ball over. Like if you don't turn the ball over, I think a lot of Saints fans would be uh, appreciative of the effort that Mark Ingram put towards. But it's just the fumbling, turning the ball over that just rubs people the wrong way. And yeah, you got to be able to hold on to the ball. If you hold on to the ball, I think the running backs of the New Orleans Saints are productive, but nobody cares if you're turning the ball over. Our defense is not as strong against the run like it's been the past few years. It's definitely not. It's definitely not, man. They were better last week. I ain't gonna lie, they were better last week. But the thing about it is like Chris McCaffrey still went over 100 yards, but I mean, he had like 25 carries on it. So I mean, he had to fight for them 100 yards. He had a couple like longer runs, but for the most part, they kind of kept him in check. Morning, TJ and the Who That Nation. We're going to get that W today. I'm confident. There are too many of us repping in London to lose. Well, I mean, I hope all that energy comes across the pond. I really hope it does because the Saints need it. And see, I don't care who's the quarterback, if Winston, Dalton, Taysom Hill, or Faith Hill. I'm rocking black and gold. Who that? Yeah, I don't care who it is either. I'm at this point. We know that Andy Dalton is starting, and we should just go ahead and support this guy. I mean, I want the Saints to win. I don't care who the quarterback is. Like you said, Tay, I just want victory for this New Orleans Saints team, and I don't care who brings it. Who that, TJ? How you feeling this morning? I'm doing fine. I'm up this morning. My wife and my son, they still sleep. But nevertheless, man, I'm feeling good this morning. Should be an exciting morning. A great day for football. I mean, look, outside it feels like fall out here. I mean, it's a beautiful day outside. Hopefully the Saints continue to make this day beautiful for a lot of Saints fans. Justin Jefferson versus Lattimore going to be a show. Let's see. TJ is a realistic fan. We're obviously not going to win every game. Yeah, I mean, look, there might be times where I say they lose and they win, and it might be times where I say they win and they lose. I mean, but I'm not going to shortchange people, and I'm not going to just say things just because it sounds like it's just the right thing to say. So I apologize if I'm angering people. It feel like I'm putting bad mojo out there, but at this particular point, that's how I feel, and I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. We're leading the league in turnover ratio. Yeah, we got 8 right now. Something that you don't want to be after 3 weeks of football. What up, TJ and the Who That Nation? Jermaine, thank you for being here. Let's see. I'm going to the game at Pittsburgh this season, dog. I'm hyped. Yeah, that should be a good game to go to. I mean, Pittsburgh fans are really passionate. So are the New Orleans Saints fans. Hey, TJ, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Glad you and your fam are okay. Being a survivor of Katrina, what did you think of that LSU game? Well, I think that LSU game was pretty good. They came back. I think they were down like 17-0, if I'm not mistaken. They came roaring back, no pun intended. It just, they made some plays like down the stretch when they needed to make plays. Auburn, I don't know who their offensive play caller is, but yeah, I mean that that pass, that running back pass they tried to go, and it got picked by Perkins. I want to say his name was, the linebacker. I mean, that was just straight up dumb. And then you had like a couple of plays where they went for it on 4th down. I don't know, man. It just seemed like with Auburn, it's just something that's missing. Like, I know we don't like Auburn, but Auburn is one of those teams that always play tough. They always have scrap and stuff like that. It's just something that's missing, and you can tell like it was something that was in that crowd. You know, the fans uh, wasn't really they wanted to cheer, but it was like more the things that they had within the stadium, like the light show and the fireworks and all that kind of stuff, trying to get people excited and off their feet more so than what their team was actually doing. And for a minute, you know, they were excited because you know they were beating up on LSU and everybody just had them as an underdog and thought LSU was just gonna beat them. But um, LSU came back, man, and they made some plays. Daniels made some plays with his leg. He got injured like trying to slide. I knew as soon as he slid, I was like, man, he lucky he ain't messed it like tear his knee up like the way that he slid. Um, you know, Emery Jr., you know what I'm saying? He made some plays too. You know, that big physical run that he had, that's what probably frustrated a lot of LSU fans, you know, that he has that inside of him, but he be like tiptoeing through the hole. I don't know if he's trying to save himself for the NFL or what. I don't know, but all in all, LSU they definitely need to improve in a passing game. Way too many drops. They had opportunities like to kind of seal the deal. Williams dropped the ball. I want to say Butte dropped the ball, and you know it wouldn't have been first downs for Butte or Williams, but it would have helped to sustain drive the way the running backs were running. So, but it was a good game. I mean, look, you don't get style points for wins and losses anymore in the NFL, in college football. You know, it's just about winning and where you are at that particular point if you're in the SEC. So glad that they got the victory. Glad they got the victory yesterday. You know, I mean, they only lost one game. Seems like Brian Kelly game plan is keeping them in games. They're finding ways to win. And I think that as years go by, I think people are going to be extremely excited about what LSU is as a team as Brian Kelly's recruits start to come in and change LSU football, and maybe they can get back to some of that magic they had back in 2019. Let's see something nobody's talking about. TJ, we started off with 3 division opponents in a row. Never seen a rough start like that. Yeah, I ain't never seen that either. I think even Drew Brees, who was on WWL a couple of days ago, alluded to that. I ain't never seen a team come off with like 3 straight division games. I ain't never seen that. I thought Camaro was playing. Why they wearing black helmets with the color rush? I have no idea. I would have just went all black. I would have just went with all black units with the black helmet. Now I just reported Kamara is inactive today. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Boy from New Iberia. Okay, thanks, Nation of Domination. Let's see. It should have been black on black. Yeah, I think that would have looked better. But those color rush jerseys with that black helmet, I don't know about that. Let's see. Vikings should win, but I'm still rooting for them Saints. Bus call game in the house. Hi, TJ. Thank you for being here, man. Their style is out sick. Know what we talking about with that. Let's see. Who that fam? We up early. I guess you're talking about the stylist for the Saints uniforms. I got to change my fantasy running back now. Saints 3, Vikings 0 final. I ain't gonna lie. Where they at right now, nobody probably would care. Like, they don't care about that kind of stuff, man. We the only ones that be caring about 30, 40 points. Like out there, man, these people, like, in the UK, they watching soccer or football matches, as they call them. And, the game might be 1-0, but they just excited. People going back and forth, 1 goal scored. So that type of game wouldn't even bother the folks in the UK, to be honest with you. Cowboys started a lot of seasons against division rivals like that. Let's see, game going to be on CBS and NFL Network. Saints 13, Vikings 10. I'm trying to see if I missed anybody here. I think Pete Carmichael is a generic play caller, and he needs to make adjustments faster than 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. Trey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was and I encourage everybody to check this out, but Drew Brees was on WWL and he was talking about this. And he said something that kind of stuck out to me. And he said it's not really the play caller's job to call the perfect play. He said they're not going to always call the perfect play. It's the quarterback job if the play isn't there to audible into a better play. And you know what I'm saying, and you know, if the play is there, to make sure that the guys, you know what I'm saying, execute it. So sometimes, like, I think sometimes, you know, we rely on offensive coordinators to call the perfect game, right? This play, you know what I'm saying, we calling this and this work. But it's the quarterback and the coordinator going hand in hand to make sure that, you know, that you're audible and you're making moves in order to make sure that your offense is successful. It's not gonna always be like P. Carmichael called the play and it's gonna be perfect. Sometimes, you know, it's gonna take Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston to audible out the play to a better play to you know, make sure that it happens successfully. I mean, that came from Drew Brees. So I think that was a, you know, for years that was a combination of he and, you know, and Sean Payton and P. Carmichael, you know, behind the scenes a little bit more. But I just think that is a combination of quarterback and offensive coordinator. So he might be calling generic plays, you know, but you know, if they are generic or they don't work, you know, the quarterback got to be able to put it, you know, to put those receivers and those running backs, the offensive line got to put them in the best position to succeed. Good morning, TJ. I have no prediction for the game. However, I bet we score touchdowns in more than just the fourth quarter. Well, I hope so, Big Sean. I hope so. At the end of the day, like, I just want them to put up some points, and I want to see this offense improve. Morning, TJ. I just heard Kamara was inactive. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He is inactive. He will not be playing in this game, and it's pretty unfortunate, man, because you know, we really need Alvin Kamara, you know, down the stretch, but you know, if you're going to get injured, I'm kind of, you know, it's a good thing that it happened early than, you know what I'm saying, down the stretch, you know, because early in the season, at least we know he's going to be there late in the season. Cool Sports Poems, thank you very much for 999, says we need to come out and start off at the beginning with more fire, energy, and passion instead of waiting to the fourth quarter and try to get fired up and do something. Yeah, I agree. You know, I definitely agree with that. Vanilla play calling and, you know, and just out there, you know, putting the Who Dat Nation to sleep because your offensive innovation stinks. Yeah, I mean, look, if you put some points on the board, touchdown or two early in the game, I think it's gonna get people like excited. But let's just see like some efficiency from the offense. That's all I'm looking for. Some level of improvement. I'm thinking they don't want Kamara playing because his incident during the offseason. I don't think that has anything to do with it, Kevin, at all. You know, I think it has very little to do with that and more to do with that injury that he had, and you don't want to re-aggravate that. So um, I think that's what it all comes down to. I don't think they care anything about no trial. These guys want to win. What up, Who That family? Let's get this W. The NFL won't let them wear the black on black. I don't understand why. Should be able to wear whatever uniform that you feel like is necessary. As long as you like, you know, got the okay for as far as the uniform concepts. You should be able to mix and match them any way that you want. I mean, NFL, I mean, come on, man. Like that's one of them situations where that's just dumb. Like y'all basically like shortchanging yourself so much. Like I feel like the NFL should be just like college football when it comes to like color concepts. They don't understand like the more color concepts a team have, the more interest the NFL, you know what I'm saying, fans will have, and they'll start buying those jerseys. And that's more money the NFL will make. But what do I know? And you would think that they would want something like that because we all know they money hungry as I don't know what. I think Pete is a great play caller. If anything, I would like to see him from him is to put his own twist on it. Sometimes it still feels like Peyton out there. Well, look, I think he definitely running the plays that Peyton ran, but you know, I think it's had to be a combination of the play caller as well as the quarterback. So, and also the offense as a whole got to get on the same page here. It's not going to work if they're not on the same page. I mean, it's not college football. You know, the coach calls a play from the sidelines and you just run it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let's just say if there's some coverage, they look towards the sidelines, they got signs up, you know, all those different things going on, you know, and the quarterback don't supposed to change the plays. But in the NFL, the quarterback has the right to change a play if he feel like he can audible from one play that he doesn't feel to work to a play, even better play that'll work. TJ, we will score on the first and third drive rushing and a tight end score. I hope you're right. He was just practicing. Yeah, he was limited though. We talking about Kamara. I feel we have the depth to fill in for Kamara. I feel Washington and Jones should get more touches regardless if AK is healthy or not. Well, I mean, Tony Jones is out, so he not getting any. Dwayne Washington, yeah, I feel like he needs to get more reps. Winston Booty, Ben Booty, Andy Dalton. I agree. Go to the quarterback. Defense needs it this game. Well, look, if the defense continue to play the way that they've been playing, I think they should be fine. If they don't go out here and they play the way that they have been playing, then you might be in trouble. I mean, the defense is the catalyst for this team, and that's just something we're gonna have to accept. It's definitely we're gonna have to accept that until the offense figures it out. They playing Taysom Hill at quarterback. Yeah, for this week, he's the number two. Yeah, he's the number 2 quarterback this week. So I wouldn't expect Taysom Hill to like be out there too much, especially like if he's serving as a backup. TJ Olave will get his first touchdown today. Well, I hope so. I mean, he's been playing extremely well, and it's going to be a little bit different now that Michael Thomas is out. He might end up getting some double teams. So I think that this, to me, I feel like this can be a game where Marquez Callaway can make some plays, or Traquan Smith can make some plays because, you got Jarvis Landry who's limited. Then you got Chris Olave who, been lighting it up. So they're going to be paying attention to that. I don't see him getting any one-on-one coverage, to be honest with you. So this is a game for one of these other guys to be able to step up and make some plays. And also, I feel like they might want to try to get Deontay Hardy involved as well, since Chris Olave is going to be getting those number 1/number 2 looks. So I think that this can be a game Hardy can actually make some plays. Hardy is one of those guys, you give him the ball and he'll be able to do something in space. I mean, we've seen this before, right? It was garbage time, of course, in the fourth quarter versus the Dallas Cowboys. But I mean, that was just like a short, pass, and he turned that into a 70-yard touchdown. So when you have a guy that dynamic on your team, why put him on the sidelines? Why not try to find ways to try to add him into this offense? And I just feel like, the way the Saints have been playing offense, and I will criticize Pete Carmichael and the offensive staff on this, is the fact that you have all those playmakers on that sidelines, and you're not utilizing. I mean, it's been we've seen this with the Kansas City Chiefs when they had Kelsey and they had Tyreek Hill, they had Nico Hartman, Sammy Watkins was there. I mean, you had guys that were like constantly making plays, and you didn't have these guys on the sidelines. I mean, Andy Reid found a way to have all these guys involved. You're like, okay, you're gonna double team Tyreek. Watch what I do with Nico Hartman. Or you're gonna try to double team Travis Kelsey. Watch what I dial up for Tyreek Hill. Like you got to be able to utilize all of your weapons, not just having 1, 2, and 3 respectively out there. Like find a way to put the ball in the hands of your playmakers, and I guarantee you can be one of the best offenses in the league. But it's too much, okay, we got these 2, 3 guys out here. We're going to make this thing work. If Deontay Hardy can make some plays, like dial up some plays for him, Callaway, dial up some plays for him. Like the key objective is winning games. So let's try to make sure that let's make sure that we do everything in our power to make sure all the playmakers that we have on the team get involved. TJ, your boy Smith will be out there. Let's see. Yeah, Traquan. The Vikings better not lose to a team with no starting quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. Yeah, that'll be really rough if they did, but I hope they're not just worried about Jefferson. They got to check Adam Thielen. Yeah, Adam Thielen is a really good wide receiver. Really good. I say the defense gets his first interception this game. Yeah, I said that. I mean, look, the way that the Minnesota Vikings like to throw the football, there's opportunities where, some of these DBs and safeties can make plays. Too many weapons, don't know what to do. Breeze would have hit everybody. Yeah. Good morning, fam. I mean, yeah, he would have hit the fullback, the tight end, but that would made Drew Brees special as a quarterback. New coaching, don't know what to do. What you mean, Andy Dalton nice? Look, all I'm saying is, man, I just think that getting mad and talking about Andy Dalton. I mean, I feel like it's is pointless. It's absolutely pointless, folks. It's pointless to talk about this dude when the overall objective is for us to want this team to win. So this today isn't the day where you want to be right about something. Like you want the team to win. Like some of us, if you're going into this game, I'll say this. If you're going into this game wanting Andy Dalton to fail, then maybe you need to check yourself. Like seriously, like you really just need to check yourself and really look in the mirror and think about, would I rather be right about my take on Andy Dalton so people can big up me for 5 minutes, or you know what I'm saying, would I just not care and just want this team to win? Like, come on, man, today ain't the day. Like if you a Jameis Winston supporter and you want, Andy Dalton supporter, like we all should be Andy Dalton supporters because we're Saints fans. And if you're going into this game wanting this guy to fail, a guy want the dude to throw the ball over a concession stand, like you're going into the game the wrong way. Like today ain't the day that you want to be right about a guy and be like, man, I told you he wasn't good. I told you, bro. Like, come on, man. We want the Saints to win. So if the Saints lose, just and at the end of the day, you like, man, I feel right about what I said though. Nah, man, we want the team to win. I want them to win. I care about none of that stuff. Let's get this dub, man. When Breeze was here, Vikings Saints was a real rivalry. I don't want to say it was a rivalry. I just think that I don't think the Saints and Vikings are a rivalry. I just think that, these two teams were a part of like historical moments, but I wouldn't consider them like a rivalry. Like I don't dislike the Vikings like that. I dislike the Falcons or anything like that. But I just think that you have some games that have historical significance. But I wouldn't think that I don't think they're rivalry. I trusted Teddy Bridgewater. What up, TJ? We gonna win. Kirk Cousins booty. From all them teams. Let him go. Kirk Cousins a coke artist. Or I guess I guess you mean choke artist. I don't think you mean coke artist, right? Hey TJ, is Paulson Debo playing today? Yes, he is. He is playing. DA will for sure draft a pursue quarterback. Who do you like? I like Jameis, but too much up and down, overthrow, underthrow, holding the ball, not reading blitzes. We're basically Tampa fans right now, keeping it real. Yeah. Not one quarterback in particular I've been evaluating that I would say I gotta see. Based on like the list. I follow college football, but not as strongly as I do the NFL. I mean, I know about like some of these players, the quarterbacks, the running backs that's coming out, but I would have to see and evaluate them. And it's not so much about who's going to be the best, because the way the Saints draft positioning is, I mean, you couldn't get the best quarterback on the board anyway. So I think it would be like, a guy that's kind of middle of the pack that can kind of fits that offense. TJ Jones and actually reality have as much as I do like Jameis Winston. I don't think Andy Dalton is the answer. Andy Dalton is the answer either. But is Jameis Winston injury prone? We have to ask that question. I won't say he injury prone. I mean, these injuries just started happening to him the last couple of years. It's just been a bunch of unfortunate mishaps. I wouldn't put him in that injury prone category just yet. Just win any means necessary. Whoever this person is right here that's putting that in here, I'm gonna just go ahead and block you. I ain't got no time for the nonsense today. Nobody wants to see that. Ain't nobody checking for that. And I would ask that you put a football question up there. If not, then find some other show to watch. TJ, he gonna throw the ball in the concession stand. Yeah, like man, people want this dude to sit up here and fail, man, and look terrible in the process. We should arrest Jameis and Kamara until the Bengals game. Well, I'm pretty sure they're gonna take it week by week. Quarterbacks is about who reads the best defense. A lot of negativity about the Saints. Are these people real fans, new coaches trying to figure it out? Let's believe in the process. That's because a lot of Saints fans don't really practice patience. I don't want to say a lot, but some of them don't practice patience. They You know, they spoiled by good quarterback play, good coaching for the most part, and being a contender every single year. So if you feel like, you know, the guy that's the coach not giving you that, then all of a sudden, you know, you start feeling some type of way. But me, man, look, I just feel like whining and complaining and all that kind of stuff. Like, we all have our opinions about it. And yes, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure as the shows go on, I'm probably going to be very upset about some of the things that I see. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm still a Saints fan and I still got love for this team. And, you know, some people, you know, they just, I don't know what it is. You know, I just think that, you know, you're going to always have people that going to want to complain about something. There's something they always going to want to complain about. Hey, TJ, I think that this is not a bad thing that Alvin and Mike not playing because Andy can throw to those open and not force it. Yeah. What are our keys to being 2-2? Ball security, good solid defense, and sustaining drives. Those are the three keys right there, in my opinion. Sustaining the drives, you know, you ain't even got to score, you know, but make sure that you keep your defense on the sidelines, like keep them kind of well rested throughout the game. Also, you know, sustain some of those drives. Those drives might turn into touchdowns, they might turn into field goals. Speaking of field goals, let's try to make some field goals, right? You know, Will Lutz have had the cases of the yips as of late. You know, let's try to see if we can make some of these field goals and stuff. I don't know what's going on with Will, but hopefully he can get this thing figured out. But let's see if we can actually sustain some drives and not shoot ourselves in the foot. You know, if they do that, then they should be fine. Let's see. Man, Drew Brees go 11-4 a season and fold in the playoffs. Well, look, you can't win the playoffs if you don't make it. You know, that's just all there is to it. Like, at least they making it to the playoffs. You know, you anytime you go to the playoffs, you got a chance. So when people like, man, they folded in the playoffs, well, let me tell you this. Last year, Drew Brees wasn't here. Did the Saints make the playoffs? No, they did not, you know. And you can say, oh, well, you know, the 49ers would have won. I mean, would have lost, then we would have been in the playoffs. Well, then you have to ask yourself the question, why were you even in that position anyway? I can't remember, like, if there were too many times where the New Orleans Saints was out there just like watching another team and seeing what they do, and if they lose, they make the playoffs with Drew. I ain't really seen too much of that. It was more like if they win or they lose, you know, we'll get a 1 or a 2 seed. But like I said, that type of stuff right there, you know, that just shows you, you know, a little bit of how spoiled we are, because it's like, man, all we got is the playoffs. But if you look at like a team like the Jets or something like that, you're like, man, I wish we could make the playoff. You know, like, that goes to show you like how spoiled we are as a fan base. Like, you know, the overall objective, you know, win your division, make the postseason, and make a run at it, or try to make a run at it. But like, we upset, man. They folded in the playoff. Like, I talk about, you can talk about teams that wish they could be in a playoff. You know, it's unfortunate that they lose when they get there, but at least they made it. And so this is something some teams, you know, can't even do. Good morning, my brother. Happy to see you and your family are safe. I am hoping to see Hardy more involved today. Yeah, me too. He's a guy that's a playmaker. He makes plays, and you know, I think that if you put the ball in his hand, he should be fine. Mimosas on deck today for this breakfast game. And you trying to get started early, huh? I rather Lamar Jackson than Bryce Young. Well, I don't think Lamar Jackson, excuse me, I don't think Lamar Jackson is going anywhere. I don't think that they're gonna let him go, especially the way he's playing now. And the Saints had an opportunity to get this dude. You know, like, you know, y'all decided to get Davenport. So yeah, a part of me is like, you know, you know, y'all had the chance to do it and y'all didn't do it. Bro, I really hope we don't lose. Been cheated out of 2 Super Bowls. It's the network down. I'm not too sure about that. I'm still here live. Well, we're about almost 30 minutes away from the game starting. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate that. 231 people watching this right now. I ask that you hit the like button. I would like to hear like some of your prediction scores. If you can put those down in the chat, I would really appreciate that. What do you think the score is going to be in this game? How do you think this, how the game is going to go? I would like to hear from you before we wrap it up. Been cheated out 2 Super Bowls. Already read that one. Ryan says Saints fans really are spoiled. They lucky they don't know about the paper bag days. Yeah, a lot of them don't, and a lot of them afraid of those days too. They probably heard of it. It's like the monster in your closet, or you out in the woods and they talking about the legend of Sasquatch. Like, ain't nobody checking for Sasquatch. Ain't nobody checking for the monster that's in the closet, right? So when you tell these old folk tales of yesteryear and the Saints, was so bad, you used to wear bags on your head because you didn't want people to know you was there. A lot of them, don't want to go back to those times. They never experienced those times and they don't want to experience those times. So, I mean, lucky for them, they haven't. But, it's almost like to me, this is equivalent to a father, right? A father who grows up in the hood in poverty. You know what I'm saying? Mom did everything she could, dad did everything he could to try to make sure he put food on the table, keep the lights on, keep the phone on. Then all of a sudden, like that kid gets old and he becomes a man and he gets, a career and he's making really good money. And he gets to a point where, he's very well off. He gets a nice house, he get married, he have kids. And then all of a sudden, like, you have these kids and these kids are like beneficiaries of of the hard work and the dedication of the man and his wife, the house, the little extracurricular activities after school. And then all of a sudden, you put something down on the table for them to eat and be like, I don't want this. And then you start reminiscing about the time where, I wish I could have this on my plate. I didn't know what I was going to have. That's kind of example. You got a lot of these Saints fans who have been spoiled by prosperity, like all these different years. And I mean, and they don't know anything about like being snake bitten or not being very good. But then you have like the older Saints fans who are like, man, I remember when we were down in the dumps, man, when this was an embarrassment right here. So what you have is like the tale of like 2 generations of Saints fans. One generation that remembers the hard times, the Great Depression times, the World War II, you know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden you got the other ones, you know what I'm saying, that's the beneficiaries, after, everything that had happened in, the segregation, all that kind of stuff. You being beneficiaries of all the hard work from the past. So that's kind of like what it is, That's kind of like what the example is, You ever had like a kid, you're in your house and stuff like that, and the kid like throwing away, I don't know, throwing away like food, throwing away clothes that you might give them. Probably don't want to wear the clothes. You ever had like something like that? That's kind of like what it is with these Saint fans. I'm gonna put lifesavers on the Vikings the way it's a win. Win if the Saints win or lose. Um, and he really meant that. He put that like a million and one times. Don't spam out your computer though. He's saying Skull. TJ Jones, I'm only 25. I know I've only been watching Drew Brees for most of my life. What's it like being in the dark days? Is this very similar to that type of atmosphere? No. Because people are upset, but because they have expectations. Like, people were upset because the team sucked and there was no silver lining in sight. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. Like, it was hopeless back in the days. Like, Saints fans today are mad because they used to like the Saints being in contention, winning a bunch of games, making the playoffs. Back in the day, you ain't had none of that. Like, you knew you went into the season knowing the Saints weren't gonna do nothing. All right, TJ, I'll see you after the game, 21-14. Yeah, there was no hope back in those days. None at all. All right. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. We'll be back with a halftime report as well as the post-game show immediately following the Saints Vikings Week 4 game. I ask that you hit the like button if you have not already. Check out previous episodes of the State of the Saints podcast available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also a part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. Much love to everybody out there. Shouts out to those that are in the UK. Shouts out to those that are watching at home. Really do appreciate everything that you all do. And I appreciate everybody that commented today and those that commented in the past. Till next time, all I got to say is